Man, I truly hope everybody is paying very, very clear attention to what big tech is wanting to do within healthcare, and they've already started. Some of it we talked about on the show. It's important to understand what claim mining is. This is when your doctor is talking to you and they're typing away on that iPad. They're entering data that goes into an Obamacare database. This is why I will not respond to core questions. For instance, I will not be weighed in a doctor's office. Why? Because I will not give that core component of data. I won't tell them my age because I'm not going to give them that core component of data because they don't want to be in that government database and because we know where Obamacare is headed. Claim mining is when they enter your condition or what you're there for into this database, and it goes in the background and it starts searching for everything, every pill they could prescribe you that will fit in the Medicare or Medicaid, or if they know your insurance plan, any pill they can prescribe, and then they're going to push that. Did you know you qualify for statins? So Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, brilliant man, utterly brilliant. It's completely tied in to the industrial, the government's industrial complex at the military and information systems level and security levels. He's onto this. He wants to be big time in healthcare, and we need to talk about the confluence of big tech and big health.
You know, these AI models are trained primarily by data that's publicly available on the internet. And there's a lot of climate data that's publicly available on the internet. But most certainly, your national health records aren't available on the internet. That stuff is not available. But that's very precious, very, very precious for your data, for your country, because you're using that data to improve population health and get better outcomes for individual citizens. So all of that data, and right now countries' data is fragmented. The problem is it's not like go to this database and here's all the data about my country. It's go to this 3,000 databases and here's all the information about my country. So but we know how to do that. You can pipe this data from these 3,000 separate data sources into a single unified database, and that's what we need to do. We need to layer on top of all of this fragmented data that we have about all this information we have about our country. And we need to take that and unify that into a single database.
He's talking here in front of an international audience of world bosses, some of whom are from purely totalitarian countries. And he's presenting an opportunity for them to be able to understand you genetically. Now, this is always pitched as a big cure. We're going to make custom cures for you. We're going to make custom drugs for you. It's always pitched that way. But I want us to think about the other side of this, and I'll do this in just a second. There's an alternative to this stuff, and one of the big lies in at least America is there's only one way to get rid of inflammation. First of all, that's not true. You can do this organically. Stop eating sugar, and about 90% of your inflammation is likely to go away because sugar in high amounts or even in like concentrated amounts causes it. Another thing you can do if it's still really, really bad, toss ibuprofen. That stuff causes inflammation. Go get Native Path Antarctic Krill, 2 soft tabs of this at night. Utterly decimated inflammation in my body. I've never needed to take ibuprofen again. And man, I work out a lot, which should cause a lot of inflammation, but it doesn't. And if I've had a particularly hard workout, say a 2 or 3 workout day, I'll double down on the soft tabs. Unlike fish, this stuff is massively absorbable, twice as absorbable as fish. Go to getkrill.com/Todd. Find out the specials they have for you. That's getkrill.com/Todd. The people like Larry Ellison don't really want us reaching for things like this. They would much rather have us reaching for whatever pill they designed for us to have. So let's start with that confluence. They're looking at our bodies as massive code bases, and they look at us as uninstalled user bases because our body doesn't yet have their code in it. This is very, very similar to tech as platform. You have the Microsoft products as platform. Oracle, of course, was also turned into a platform. You can code for Oracle. Now Oracle is an AI. Clearly, they're going to platform that. But this confluence of things that they pitch as a great way to have health for your nation is also a great way to make sure that certain segments of your population don't get to reproduce. And don't think this is outside the realm of possibility. You have China and their one-child policy. How much easier would it be for them just to look across their entire country and say, you know what, we'd like more kids from this ethnic background and not this ethnic background. It's utterly ungodly and completely possible when you start looking at people's genetic data in this way. It would also be completely possible to create weapons systems that target people of certain genetic bases. And remember that the Chinese Communist Party's government has announced that they want to be the top purveyor of chemical and biological warfare. Now, this wouldn't be that helpful in chemical, but knowledge of an entire nation's medical systems, right down to the DNA and medical histories of the people in those nations, would actually allow them to code weapons that are biologically aimed at certain segments or maybe even certain people. Oh, they probably can't do this now. Keep track of Moore's law. The power of processors doubles every 18 months. There's a similar one for batteries, etc. Tech is always pitched as a good thing. And how often in our history in the world has been used to be turned into actual literal weapons? God warns us, people like this want to lord their power over others. And God didn't create us for this stuff, in my opinion.